Hello friends, welcome to another episode of MZUNGU. I got trapped in the bathroom at Safari. I think it was the second Safari we went to, and we were getting ready to leave, and I thought it would be a good idea to use the restroom. They didn't have urinals, or there, for some reason I didn't use a urinal. I went to the stall. Maybe I had to do another two. Use the restroom. Went to go get out. Can't. Door's jammed. What do you mean door's jammed? Door's jammed. I go to twist the thing and the thing doesn't open, and I'm like, okay, well maybe if and then clink, like, oh god, oh things are falling apart. I couldn't get out, right? And we had to leave. Like, this was like a minute and a half before we were all supposed to be in the Safari vehicles leaving. We are in Kenya, so I don't have any like normal cell phone service. Like, I can't call anyone because I don't have like the international thing going on. Absolute Chad Colin comes in. He's like, are you okay in there? And I'm like, no, I'm very stuck. And then they got like a Safari worker to come in, and they're like, don't worry, we'll get you out. And then like after a few moments of tinkering with the door, he's like, we can't get you out. And so eventually I was like, you know what, I just gotta lock in. There was no way to get out from underneath, but if you were to like climb up, because the walls were like 7.5 feet tall, so I had to climb up out of the stall using the toilet and then like shimmy over the wall and drop down. It was very silly, and everybody made fun of me for a very long time. Appreciate Colin, appreciate the crew for not leaving me stranded, appreciate that Safari worker for at least giving it his best shot. I was trapped, but it was not a bad time. Now, there was a time where we were trapped and it wasn't as enjoyable. If you've been thinking about the timeline here, I was in Kenya in late June. You might be going, late June of 2024 in Kenya. Didn't something happen then? Yes, you're right. The finance bill protests, led by the Gen Z activists, were happening pretty much in the span that we were in Kenya for. Some places might also call that the 7 days of rage, because those protests did not end peacefully and were very passionate on both sides. It revealed just how trapped Kenyan youths were feeling and the extent that their government would go to maintain their ideals before eventually coming to a conclusion. There was one day, for a little bit of background, we stay at the Heart Lounge. Heart Lounge is maybe a 25 to 35 minute drive from the Project Lucas school that we go to. Guess how long it took us to get back from Project Lucas school to the Heart Lounge? 25-ish minutes away. Right here. How long do you think it took? Incorrect. It took us 6 hours. We were in traffic, mostly stop traffic, for 6 hours. We were on that bus for so long. We saw the sunset. The traffic was the most chaotic I have ever seen in my life. No hyperbole. There was a time where I looked out of the window and there were cars facing in literally every direction. So, usually when you're on a road, you go either forward or you go back sometimes if it's a two-way road. There were cars facing everywhere. It was absolute pandemonium. I'm pretty sure they had blocked off the Capitol for the protests. It started off with like, wow, this is a lot of traffic, to like quietly being like, man, we might be out here for a long time. If it wasn't for the absolute Queen Whisper herself, we might still be sitting out there. She was able to pull some strings, use her magic, use her silver tongue, and get us to the Heart Lodge pretty much in time for us to go to sleep for the next day. Like, it was crazy. And then we learned later, like, the traffic was so bad that people who weren't fortunate enough just had to literally sleep in their car on the road that night. Like, and we were seeing it as we were passing, when it was getting later and later. People were just like, okay, they just like had their feet kicked up and like they were just lounging around because they're like, I'm not going anywhere. It is crazy to think how that could be a thing, where you feel so stuck that you just hunker down for the night there in that much traffic. And then again, the protests, feeling that stuck. These ones had a death toll, and a lot of people got injured, and it was pretty bad. I really do hope and pray that one day Kenya is no longer trapped. Yep, started with a funny story and ended very down in the dumps, but it wouldn't be a MZUNGU series without making you feel sad. at some points. So thank you as always for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next episode.